Oh my god, Ed lied to Rose again last night. Last night we had a new episode of 90 Day Fiance, and it wasn't any typical episode of 90 Day Fiance. It was a 3-hour episode of 90 Day Fiance, and in the episode, for some crazy reason, Ed lied to Rose yet again. Okay, so much happened last night. First, let's just quickly backpedal and I will refresh you guys on what is going on. I'm sure most of you guys heard the news. Ed and Rose, they were in the Philippines. Ed spent the night at Rose's house, which, sad to see, it wasn't the nicest house in the whole world. Of course, Ed complained and complained and complained. Finally, Ed decided that it would be a better idea for Ed and Rose to go on a trip to some island. So that is what they did in this episode. They went on the trip, they went to this new island, and that is where Ed told the infamous, horrible thing that he said to Rose and said that her breath smelled, which is just god-awful and so rude. But I already made a video on that, so I'm sure you guys are all well aware. Anyway, Ed told Rose that her breath smelled horrible. He got her a freaking kid's toothbrush and toothpaste and mouthwash. Long story short, Rose was very mad. She was so mad she called him ugly, but as you could clearly see in last night's episode, she desperately wants to come to America so bad and get, her and her son a better life. She kind of just blew it off. Fast forward a little bit more, Ed supposedly, lined up some really romantic dinner for him and Rose. They were at the dinner, they kind of, made up, and Ed brought up the fact that Rose's sister asked him for money. Of course, Rose kind of played it off. Maybe she was aware, maybe she wasn't aware, but from the way Rose was talking, I'm pretty sure that Rose had no idea that her sister asked Ed for money. Either way, after they brought that up, then finally Ed was saying, I feel like I'm ready to propose to her. I feel like she's the one. And then Rose dropped a bombshell on him saying that she wants to have 2 more kids with him. And that is where he flat out lied. What did he do? Instead of telling her, hey, I'm in my mid-50s and I don't want to have any more kids, and truth be told, he probably barely even wants to adopt her, own son, Prince, because he definitely seems to be on the fence with her already having a kid, let alone him having 2 more. But what does Ed do? Ed totally plays it off like it was nothing. He doesn't tell her anything how he's feeling, and he just keeps this secret from her. Now, there's 2 things. Number 1, I was watching it just thinking, dude, tell the girl, if you don't want to have kids with this girl and you want to marry her, you need to tell her. Like, what is this guy thinking? And number 2, you're trying to tell me, Ed, that you never once thought to mention the fact that you don't want to have any more kids before you came to the Philippines and before all this other stuff happened? Are you kidding me? How did he never, ever, ever bring that up? So whatever, long story short, Ed, full of crap, dude, he needs to get the heck out of there. I mean, after last night's episode, I have crossed the line. I don't like the guy. I think he is so full of himself. He uses the wrong words, he's cocky, and I just don't think he's coming from a good place. And that was just the beginning from last night's episode. David, remember David, the crazy David that was talking to some, quote-unquote girl named Lana for 7 years and gave her over $100,000? Well, in the last episode, David finally tracked down so we thought was Lana's house, and he knocked on the door, and guess what? Of course, Lana wasn't there. So who was there? It was some 50, 60-year-old Ukrainian man who said he never heard of Lana. He's never even seen a Lana. He's never seen this lady walking around the apartment complex. He has no idea who she is. So at this point now, I can about 99.9% confirm Lana is fake. She isn't real. She is a catfish. And this she that I keep saying is probably a man in Nigeria that is using David for money. Clearly, no doubt in my mind. The interesting part, though, that I'm really excited to see is in the upcoming episodes, it looks like David actually hires a Ukrainian private investigator to track down who this Lana character is. So maybe we will find out in this season who this catfisher is, but I can clearly tell you Lana is not real. And speaking of catfish, we have to talk about Yolanda. Yolanda was on last night's episode for quite a while. She was there with her 2 kids. She kind of spilled the beans that, hey, it's not going good. She was acting all naive, and she was acting like she was still believing it, that his account really did get hacked. and this and that, and oh my god, it was so painful to watch. I don't buy it, Yolanda. I think she is full of it. I think she knows exactly what's going on, and I think she just wants to be on this TV show and ride out and, and just get her 5 minutes of fame. The other comment I have on Yolanda is, I said it in the last video, Yolanda and David, they're both in Vegas. They should give it a shot because they are both getting catfished and they know exactly what it's like to get catfished. And they're both extremely gullible. Either way, Yolanda, same thing. It was a joke. Williams, he's not real. I have heard so many different things that these pictures we're seeing of Williams are fake and this and that. I don't even know where to start because, truth be told, I don't care because Yolanda's clip is fake. Moving on to Ash and Avery, and holy crap, now we have some real drama with this couple. In the last episode, things were going smooth, things were going well, and just like that, Ash had a dating seminar with, honestly, 5 to 6 single women. He was acting like it was going to be a freaking Tony Robbins full-on seminar, sold out with women everywhere, going crazy. Dude, there was probably, to be completely honest, maybe 5 to 10 people in the whole room, nothing. And not only was no one there, no one gave a crap. The stuff Ash was saying was just, first off, it didn't make much sense. It didn't. He was talking in circles, and when he was kind of making sense, he was just saying stuff that personally I don't think he should be saying. It was rude. You can call him sexist, you can say that he was being whatever, but all in all, I think he was just being flat out rude. He was making a lot of just flat out bizarre generalizations about men and women, and he was saying, that men's brains are like this and women's brains are like this, and I'm just watching this going, dude, what are you even saying? I don't agree at all with what he was saying. I think he was being rude to the women in the audience. I think he was being rude to even men because he was making all these generalizations. It didn't make any sense. Either way, he was being flat out rude, but the funniest thing I thought was he just was like a god-awful dating coach. Awful. He didn't have a script memorized. He was talking in circles. He wasn't making any sense. And the worst part for him was Avery was sitting in the crowd. She was one of the 5 to 6 people, and she thought it was god-awful too. I mean, she was even just like, what is this guy saying? She was questioning her relationship with him. So then she kind of called him out. And what does Ash do? Typical Ash. He talked in circles. He tried to make it sound like sunshine and rainbows, and he wasn't making any sense. Avery got upset. Just like that, they broke out into a fight. And I don't know what's going to happen with this couple, but after hearing his little seminar talk thing, I hope Avery doesn't stay with him. I don't think he's a good guy. I think he is just kind of out there in la la land. Maybe he thinks that men are better than women. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. But either way, I think he was being extremely rude, especially to the women in the audience, and I don't think Avery should stay with him. But hey, y'all already know. Put in the comments below what you think of that little couple. I didn't think it was good, but I want to hear from you guys. Moving on to Darcy and Tom, another drama-filled couple. Well, more like ex-couple now, but it was ridiculous, and I kind of think it was a little bit staged, if I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. Last night, we all know, Tom and Darcy, they met in New York. We all saw it. It was a mess. It was just a joke. Darcy went crazy. Tom went crazy. Tom called Darcy fat. It wasn't cool. It was rude. Tom got tons of hate for it. So the next day, Tom obviously felt sorry or whatever, and he wanted to apologize. I don't know if he genuinely wanted to apologize or if, same thing, he just wanted another 5 minutes on camera. I'm leaning more towards him just figuring, hey, if I go and do this, he can get some more camera time. So that's my gut feeling, that he just wanted to be back on camera. But either way, Tom got in some car. I don't know who it was, a driver, and he got hauled over to Connecticut, knocked on Darcy's door. Stacy opened the door, and he handed, Darcy, who came to the door, a letter where he apologized to her, and Darcy refused to accept it. Darcy was going crazy. Tom felt like an idiot, and Tom eventually put the note on Darcy's car, and he got back in the car, and he was furious that he wasted his time going all this way just to have Darcy basically slam the door in his face. So yeah, I don't blame Tom for being mad, but on the other hand, I think Tom just wanted to do it for the fame. I don't think he gave a crap about Darcy because it sounds like he is clearly dating someone else. So either way, he was just going to apologize to her. I do think if it was genuine, hey, that was the good thing to do. It was nice for him to apologize, but he said horrible things. And Darcy, it was painful to watch. Darcy just handled it like a 2-year-old. She was being so immature. She was talking in circles. And after last night's episode, I don't really like Tom, and I really can't stand Darcy because I think they both just want fame. So, of course, we have no idea what this note said. Tom did post on Instagram last night that he's considering, posting this note on Instagram so we can see what it really says. I would love that, but I would be shocked if he actually did it. Erica and Stephanie were on last night. They are probably one of the more boring couples, to be completely honest with you guys. Not a whole lot of interesting things happened. They made up. They were going to do a fresh start. I'm not buying it. I don't even know if Stephanie is attracted to Erica. I don't think she likes her. She shows very little enthusiasm around her. I kind of feel bad for Erica. I think Erica is a great girl. Great energy. She's hilarious. She's fun. She seems like a really good time. And Stephanie doesn't seem to be very interested in her. And Jeffrey and Varia were on last night's episode as well. It was solid with them. I can just see it slowly going down and down and down and down. Varia's enthusiasm and interest in Jeffrey. Once Jeffrey came out and said that he has a criminal past, and he didn't even tell her his entire criminal past, but once he mentioned that he has, a little bit of stuff going on in his past, dude, she had no interest. It went down and down and down, and now at this point, she's pretty much just lost all her enthusiasm for Jeffrey. She doesn't really see, him being the guy, I think, of her dreams anymore. In last night's episode, they were camping with one of Jeffrey's friends that he met in Mexico who lives over in Russia, which was just weird and made no sense. But either way, they were camping, and you could just see her enthusiasm went way down. She's not into the guy. She has no interest. And she's probably kind of scared for her life. And last but not least is Lisa and Usman, which I already told you guys I'm going to keep this couple short from now on because I don't want to get into the drama of Lisa and Usman. I just don't care. I think this couple is ridiculous. And in last night's episode, we all saw that Usman got, the permission from his mom to marry Lisa. Great. Fantastic. I don't really give a crap. And it looks like they're going to get married. A lot of fluff drama in the previews for this couple. They did get into a brief fight because, hey, Usman called out Lisa for kind of being a bit aggressive and rude. Now, Usman did kind of word it in not a good way. Usman worded it in a way like, hey, I control the house. I am in charge. I am above you, which obviously, hey, I don't agree with that. I think it's a flat level two-way street, 50-50. No one is better than anyone. However, I do think Lisa is sometimes bossy to Usman. It just seems like she has a tendency to always complain about something. And we can all see it. She's always complaining about something. One thing after another, she's getting mad. For a glimpse, it looked like she was happy when Usman's mom said, yes, you can marry, my son. For about 30 seconds, she seemed happy, and then just like that, she was mad again. They were sitting down talking about the problems that they have in their relationship, and of course, Lisa got fired up, and she walked away, and she gave him the finger. And I believe that was it from last night's episode. I feel like I'm missing a couple, but maybe not. It was a solid episode. It was extremely long, which I did enjoy. I wish that we could see, more couples. Like Ed and Rose, we didn't really get to see much, besides the fact that he totally lied and played it off like he was open to having more kids, and that was about it. So put in the comment below what you guys thought of last night's episode. I thought it was a good one. It was very entertaining, very bizarre, and very drama-filled. Thank you so much for watching this video. Put in the comments below, and make sure if you haven't already joined my email list, I'll put a link below where you guys can join, and stay tuned for many more episodes.